You know, I spent years working as a business development manager, working in sales, specifically in the IT and cybersecurity industry, selling, cybersecurity products and services, consulting to a variety of different industries. And I was traveling around Asia. I loved this job at the time. This was a few years ago now. And when I was doing it, I didn't quite realize the reason that separated big, successful companies from, like the other ones that don't really get put on the map. They're not really on anyone's radar. Even if they are selling and potentially even making millions of dollars, they're never going to become that big, successful company. It wasn't really until maybe last year that I realized why this happens, or why the big successful companies are so big and successful compared to the companies that just employ a sales team and just do direct face-to-face or outbound selling. And I guess, really since the beginning of time, this is how most enterprise companies have been selling, right? They've just hired salespeople to smash the phones, do a heap of cold calling. Nowadays, it's a lot of emailing. Maybe they set up cold email campaigns and automate it, which means that they can reduce their sales team. But from what I remember, from what I know in the market at least, these enterprise companies are still doing a lot of cold calling, doing a lot of cold DMs, and typically their main sales strategy is lunch and learns. So inviting people to a lunch or to a dinner, paying for their beer, paying for their dinners, and then presenting at that event. So it's like a fun networking event, meet other business owners, but we're also going to pitch you as well after you've eaten your dinner or throughout the dinner. So it's like an ongoing presentation between courses. This is really how most companies sell in today's day and age. And although this works, and it still works today, it wasn't until maybe last year that I realized that the companies who are the most successful are actually not the ones that are doing this or following this specific method or strategy or tactic. The ones that are most successful, the ones that are absolutely dominating, are the ones that have sales assets to back up everything that they say. So these sales assets are designed for their target customers to be able to find throughout their buyer journey. So if I wanted to buy a cybersecurity solution, for example, let's say I was the CEO or the CTO of a $10 million a year organization, and I was tasked with the idea or tasked with the job of finding a solution that would, keep us safe. The way that I would do that initially, of course, I would look at my network and things like that, but I'm almost always going to be researching. I'm going to be looking online, and this happens with any other product. So it doesn't matter who you sell to, who your target audience is. The first thing anyone is going to do, and the thing that they're going to do for most of the time before they ever speak to you as a salesperson or as a business owner, is that they're going to Google different products, different services, different solutions. Can they do it themselves? Can they do it in-house? What are the problems that arise? How much are things going to cost? And they're going to do a lot of this research before they ever interact with a salesperson or with you. So it makes sense then that if you want to compete in this day and age, if you want to be a $100 million a year organization, then you should be creating the right sales assets and enough of them so that your target audience can find them throughout their buyer journey. It doesn't make any sense to do anything else. Yes, you can have people smash the phones. Yes, you can send heaps and heaps of emails. Yes, you can probably spend money on advertising. But the way people buy today is different, because even if you cold call someone, usually people don't like that anyway, but even if you do have a conversation, what are they going to do when they get off the phone? Okay, you've managed to have a successful cold call. You've booked them in for the meeting, which was the point of the cold call. What is that person going to do next? Maybe receive an email from you as a confirmation. Then they're going to go on your website, and then they're going to look at the content that you've got there. Or they're going to Google your name or your company's name, and then they're going to look at the content that you've got there. That's what they're going to be doing. Same with cold emails. I receive cold emails all the time. Most of the time, I just open them and ignore them. But if something does catch my eye, the first thing I'm going to do is go online and Google that person, their company, what they've done, their results, how they do it. And then I'm going to compare them to other companies that I know about who do a similar thing. And if they don't have any content or any examples or any case studies, then I'm not going to be interested, because I get pitched all the time, and I'm not the decision maker of a $100 million or even a $10 million organization. And these decision makers who run those organizations definitely get pitched a lot more than me. And I can imagine that they will go through the same process as what I just went through. Now, one can make the argument that people make decisions based on their network. So if I'm the decision maker of a company and I've got people within my network who can sell me a solution that I'm looking for, then maybe I'd go for them and I'd work with them and I pay them the money to deliver that solution. But things don't work like that, because although there might be a dozen people that could help me with a solution in my LinkedIn network or on my phone, unless they're front of mind, unless they're top of mind for me, I'm not going to think of them first. The first thing I'm ever going to do is Google. And then if that company's name and that person's name comes up in Google, then obviously I might go to them. But that's really how it works. That's the process of decision making. That's the process of buying that anyone takes. And I'm using this as an example in terms of like B2B, multiple millions of dollars, big contracts. But this happens even if you want to buy a $2,000 informational product or buy a $100 membership per month. So $100 per month you pay to join a membership community. It happens regardless. Before you purchase anything, you're going to research that person. You're going to research what they do, how they do it, their success stories, who's worked with them. The only other alternative to that is if you've been following this person for a long time. And the reason you probably follow them is because they pump out content consistently on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, wherever you typically follow them, YouTube, whatever it is. I know most of the people that I bought from, I've consumed a lot of their content before I've purchased anything from them. There's this concept called the 7-hour rule, and I think it might even now be the 11-hour rule or the 12-hour rule, but let's just stick to the 7-hour rule. This is a premise or a theory or a fact, I'm not really sure what one, but it makes a lot of sense, that in order for anyone to buy from you, they need to consume 7 hours worth of content. So if you're just DMing people, the only content they're consuming is your DMs. If you only have one 10-minute video on YouTube, to get to 7 hours, I mean, it's just not going to happen. So you need to have 7 hours worth of content for someone to make a decision to give you their money that they've worked very hard for in exchange for the goods that you're offering them. And if you don't have that content to back up your claims, to build trust, to build authority, they're either not going to buy anything, because it's sometimes better for people to stay in the same position than to lose money. That's how they logically process it. Or they're going to be researching about your product, your solution, because you've reached out to them and they've heard about it potentially. And in doing that research, they're going to come across your competitors who do have the content out there online that subtly sells them on their products and services instead of yours. And then you've lost the sale. I know this happens because it happened to me in the past when I worked in sales, and it happens to me in my current business. If I don't have enough content out there, but my competitor does, my prospects are going to go and work with them. You know, I've had a lot of people on sales calls who have said no to me for whatever reason. And then they come back to me 6 months or 12 months later and they say that they worked with 2 or 3 agencies before me. Well, that's obviously my fault for not having enough content, maybe not being a good salesperson. But the reason they've bought from those other businesses or those other agencies is because they've had the content to help that person make a logical and emotional decision, a buyer decision, and I didn't have it. So only through those failures, those experiences, have I been able to truly understand this. And like I said, I only really understood this last year. It only really came into my head, into fruition. And so that's why I talk a lot on this channel about how much content you need. That's why I'm just pumping out YouTube videos this year. That's why I turn my YouTube videos into LinkedIn articles. That's why I try and be consistent on social media. Because there's one thing about being front of mind, but there's also that search potential that you need. And you don't just want to have a medium of content that can only be consumed via text as well. A lot of people will misconstrue this information and think, well, if we just release 13,000 blog articles over the next 2 months using AI that has high search potential, then we'll be good. It doesn't work like that. Sometimes you need to have multiple mediums. And videos is going to be the thing that will allow you to scale far faster than blog articles or written content, because anyone can write blog articles. There's tools and software out there now, especially with AI, that will allow you to produce 13,000 blog articles over the next couple of months. If anyone can do that, and it's so easy to do, it's not going to be as valuable to your potential customers. Alternatively, you can create video content that your competitors can't necessarily copy, and that video content, because it's visual, is going to be far more valuable than a blog article. And it's going to mean that you can match that 7-hour rule, because if you can create a 10 or 15 or 20 minute or even a 1-hour video, like a podcast or a big masterclass or interview style, something like that, then you're going to be able to keep people's attention and allow them to consume 7 hours worth of content over a period of time so that they buy from you. These are all things that I teach in my free community. So if you're interested in this, if you got this far in a video, check out the links in the description below this video. You can join my free community. It's the Video CEOs Creator Community. I talk about a lot of different stuff, not just this, but how you can create amazing video content by leveraging AI without having to be on camera. You could use AI to clone your voice and to clone the way that you look. And we discuss how you can use AI and virtual teams to scale your content creation and distribution process so that you can create massive amounts of video content, but also other content, because video content can be cut down into other pieces as well. But you can create a massive amount of video content without having to do any work by leveraging AI and a virtual team, and distribute it in a way that it reaches your target audience. So if you want to learn how you can do all of that for free, at the moment the group is free at least, click the link in the description below. And if you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. Like this video, it helps me with the algorithm, and I'll see you in the next one.